We're counting down the 5 illegal riding moves only real riders know. The maneuvers that get you ticketed on paper but could save your life on the street. From moves that slice through gridlock to tactics that outsmart sensors and predators, each of these forbidden techniques walks the fine line between breaking the law and avoiding disaster. This isn't about being reckless. It's about mastering the survival playbook they never teach in safety class. Which rule-bending move truly earns the top spot for keeping you alive? Let's find out, starting with number 5. In the 5th place, filtering, also called lane splitting, turns the most hated illegal move into a lifeline. Picture this: traffic is barely crawling, cars stacked for blocks, and you're the only one exposed on 2 wheels. The law says stay in line, but the physics say you're a sitting duck for every texting driver behind you. Rear-end collisions make up a huge chunk of fatal motorcycle crashes, especially at low speeds where distracted drivers zone out. California's own numbers tell the story. Lane splitters face a fatality rate of just 1.2%, compared to 3% for those stuck in traffic. That's not a small difference. That's the gap between walking away and getting carted off. The safest way? Keep your speed no more than 15 miles per hour above traffic, and only split when the flow is under 50 miles per hour. This isn't about racing. It's about slipping through the kill zone, eyes up, hands ready to brake. In places where filtering is banned, real riders still use it, because waiting for a green light with a pickup bearing down is a gamble no one should have to take. Number 4, running the red isn't about impatience. It's about escaping a trap the law never saw coming. Inductive loop sensors, those wire coils buried in the asphalt, are designed for 2-ton sedans, not a 400-pound bike with an aluminum frame. The result? You can sit through 3, 4, even 5 cycles at a dead red, invisible to the system, and every car behind you growing more restless by the second. In 21 states, dead red statutes recognize this engineering failure. Illinois and South Carolina set the threshold at 120 seconds, Utah at 90. But outside those lines, the law expects you to wait forever, even if it means risking a rear-end collision or a confrontation with an angry driver. DOT memos. Admit the tech is outdated, but upgrades move at a snail's pace. The safest play? Stop completely, count out the weight, scan every direction, and treat the intersection like a stop sign when the system fails. Helmet cam footage, a written log, even a snapshot of the intersection. These become your legal shield if a citation lands in your lap. In the end, real riders know. Survival sometimes means outsmarting a signal designed for someone else's wheels. Number 3, the preemptive roll-through is the move every city rider learns after dark. The law says a complete stop at every intersection, no matter what. But the street tells a different story. In places like Chicago and Detroit, police reports stack up with cases where riders stopped at a deserted light and became easy pickings for muggers or carjackers. The risk isn't theoretical. Hospital records in 2022 tracked a spike in assaults on riders flagged down by nothing more than a red light and bad luck. One clip from New York that year captures the moment. A lone rider rolls through a dead intersection at 1:30 a.m., just as a car creeps in from the side street. Security footage later ties that car to an armed robbery crew working the neighborhood. That slow roll wasn't a shortcut. It was the difference between getting home or getting held up. Police advisories now quietly warn against lingering at empty intersections in high-risk zones, especially at night. The technique is simple: slow to a crawl, eyes sweeping every approach, clutch ready, and if the coast is clear, keep moving. It isn't about beating the law. It's about denying predators the easy target. Riders call it momentum technique, but the logic is pure survival. The textbook says stop, but in the wrong zip code, stopping can be the most dangerous move of all. The law wants order, but the street demands you stay moving, stay alert, and never let yourself become a stationary victim. Number 2, the aggressive lane change, sometimes called the block, is how real riders teach cars to see them, whether the law likes it or not. The traffic code says every lane change must be smooth, slow, and non-confrontational, but that advice was written for people surrounded by 2 tons of steel. On a bike, the biggest threat isn't your own speed. It's the driver who drifts into your lane without checking their mirror, or that SUV that decides your space is up for grabs. National crash reconstructions tell the same story year after year. Most multi-vehicle motorcycle collisions start with a car merging or changing lanes, claiming they never saw the bike. The law expects you to play nice, but the street rewards the rider who claims their space with authority. Defensive riding instructors drill it into students: own your lane, use your throttle, and move with purpose. A timid rider hugging the edge blends into the background and gets cut off. An assertive rider signaling early and shifting position with a clear burst of speed forces drivers to register their presence. State trooper reports back this up. Riders who proactively block a merge or make themselves impossible to ignore are far less likely to end up in a sideswipe crash. But there's a line between assertive and antagonistic. The goal isn't to pick a fight or spark road rage, it's to communicate unmistakably that your lane is not a free-for-all. Experts recommend pairing every aggressive lane change with a sharp, visible signal and a decisive throttle input. Never a slow drift or a vague weave. Instructors call it controlled aggression, enough to command respect, never enough to escalate the situation. The payoff is real. Drivers who learn that bikes won't vanish under their bumper start giving wider berth, and the risk of being squeezed out drops dramatically. The law may write tickets for aggressive moves, but the crash data and street wisdom agree. Being seen is safer than being sorry. And finally, in first place, the quick draw U-turn, the last resort maneuver that separates the living from the statistics. Every rider knows the law. Double yellow means no U-turn, no exceptions. But the street has its own rules, and sometimes the only way out is through the forbidden door. When road rage erupts, when a car swerves with intent, or when the weather turns lethal in seconds, the law's textbook answer, wait, comply, hope for the best, just doesn't cut it. In 2021, a Texas court faced this exact scenario. A rider, boxed in by an enraged driver, punched a hard U-turn across the lines, breaking the law to break contact. The dashcam told the whole story. A 2-ton truck bearing down, swerving, escalating. The judge called it what it was, a clear and present danger. Ticket dismissed, necessity defense granted. The lesson: when the threat is immediate and every second counts, a citation is pocket change compared to a hospital bill or a toe tag. But here's the catch. Courts don't hand out get-out-of-jail-free cards for convenience. The necessity defense only works when you can prove there was no safer legal option. No time to call for help, no shoulder to escape to, no chance to wait it out. Documentation is everything. Helmet cam, dash cam, even a frantic 911 call. These aren't just insurance for your story, they're your only shot at walking away clean. Riders who survive these moments know the drill. Scan for exits, commit to the turn, keep it tight, keep it upright, and get clear of the threat before it turns fatal. If a cop lights you up, don't argue on the roadside. Save it for the judge and bring the evidence. Veteran instructors call it the fire alarm maneuver. You never want to pull it, but when the building's burning, you don't wait for permission. The law expects obedience, survival demands judgment. In the hierarchy of illegal moves, none packs more consequence or more justification than the emergency U-turn. The risk of a ticket is nothing next to the risk of not making it home. That's the calculus real riders live by. Every time the street writes a check the law can't cash. From the calculated risk of low-speed lane splitting to the ultimate last resort quick-draw U-turn, our countdown of 5 illegal riding moves shows one undeniable truth. Survival on 2 wheels often means breaking the rules written for 4. Across all 5 entries, the common thread is clear. These maneuvers aren't about reckless rebellion, but about staying alive when the law's letter can't keep up with real-world threats. Whether it's filtering to dodge rear-enders, rolling through dead intersections to avoid crime, or asserting lane position to force drivers' respect. Each move is grounded in defensive logic and hard data. The most surprising revelation? The most extreme moves, like illegal U-turns, aren't reserved for thrill seekers, but for riders facing immediate, life-threatening danger, where a ticket is a small price compared to the alternative. Ultimately, this list exposes the gap between legal theory and street reality, reminding us that for real riders, the law of survival comes first.